Thank you so much, guys. Um, I would like to first thank you, everyone, for inviting me today. With that being said, before we deep dive into these topics, I would like to share a 5 years old Shilpa story. So शिल्पा जब 5 साल की थी उसका सिर्फ एक ही सपना था 25,000 रुपीज़ कमाने का जिससे वो अपने घर का टेक केयर कर सके दैट वॉज द ड्रीम शी हैड एंड शी केप्ट सर्चिंग कि यार ये ड्रीम मैं सच कैसे करूँ लाइक हाउ डू आई कन्वर्ट दिस ड्रीम इन टू रियलिटी and she grew a little old. She get into school, higher classes, went to college, went ahead and did random jobs and kept searching and questioning herself in the same way. How can I convert my dream into reality? And this is not just mine, and everyone sitting out there or looking at this digitally will feel the same, that these questions we keep asking and wise people come our way. They keep sharing with us. It's hard work. It's dedication. It's perseverance and so many other synonyms. But today when I stand and when I was writing this whole script, I looked back in time and I realized there were 3 lessons in my life. And these 3 lessons converted my dream into reality. And today when I'm standing, this is a dream come true for me too. So when I'm doing that, this was some key elements which played such a successful role to make me come here or be where I am, taking care of my family, developing artist. And with that, I would like to start the session with the topic of today. It's independent, fearless, and unstoppable. My path to developing artist. What does it mean being independent, right? Independent means I need to know where things are. I need to believe in myself. Being fearless means talking whatever I feel and do whatever I need to do. And being unstoppable means going ahead and doing what is needed to be done to be successful. Now, in this session, when we are deep diving, I'm going to divide this session in three parts only, which is being independent, being fearless, and being unstoppable. And in the 3 sessions and 3 topics, I'm going to add my personal story and one artist story I know who truly believe in this lesson and converted their dream into reality. So let's start with the second slide, where we start with the topic of truly being independent. So what does independent mean? I am an independent woman in a male-dominated society and in a male-dominated industry. Is it easy? Not at all. Is it difficult? Hell yes. What do? We keep going, we keep doing it. So to give you paint a picture of what industry I work in, because you guys may not know how music industry is. Usually music industry is represented by artists, producers, and other. So I'm going to walk you through some stats, okay? These stats will showcase that what this industry represents. So to start with, in 2023, only 35% of artists on the Billboard Top 100 year-end charts were women. And in UK rap and dance music, the number is even low. We look at the female songwriter stats, okay? Over past 11 years, not 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. It's past 11 years, only 12.8% of songwriters were women. That is a ratio of 6.8 men over 1 female artist. In 2023, a study found the music producers, you all listen to music, right? The music producer is the one who produces the music at the back end. You listen while vocal and lyrics come in. In 2023, study found that just 6.5% of music producers are female. That is a ratio approximately 93.5 men. In 2023, there was a report in Music Business Worldwide noted that women held only 20% of leadership position in music industry. And these leadership positions are not in business and sales, where I am. These were more operational, marketing, and other roles. And in India, the number is even lower. So while these stats you will see in combination, you will understand what do I truly mean by being independent. And from the start till end, this is what has created my dream into reality. Believing in who I am and kept doing what I need to do. To give you a personal story, because I promised a personal story with each lesson. So the personal story is very simple. And I'm sure this is the story of all the women out there. I am a woman and I am independent and strong. I'm called egoistic, rude, bossy, and I don't know what all names. I am independent, so I am called not so girl like. In offices, when I'm sitting with a lot of executives, they are telling me, you're not like girl like, so we speak so much. You grew because you're more like a man. I don't know, what do they mean by this? What standard creates female female? Let's leave this aside. You know what? I'm short in height and I have a baby face. Half of the people are thinking that, are you sure you're an executive or senior position? And in a lot of places, I have not been offered leadership position because I don't look like one. And I'm not making things up. These are real stories which has happened with me, and multiple people have done this. You guys are student and you're guys going to go in jobs, right? And especially the females one. When I started doing jobs, the people who were hiring me didn't ask my qualification first. They asked me, when are you getting married? When do you plan to have babies? And I'm sure this is not just about me. All the women sitting out there trying to fight their space, creating work-life balance, are asked this question. And when you're really strong and you're putting everything what you have to be, do what you want to do, it hurts. It really hurts. And with all these hardship, what I did is I converted it to more dedication. I wanted to prove everyone wrong, and I'm happy that I kept doing it. That's what I mean by being independent. And when I talk about independent, I promised you a good story of an artist too. And I'm going to share a great story of one of my dear friend, Neha Bhasin. She's a female. To give you a background, I met her when I was just a manager, right? We worked on a couple of projects together. And while we were doing these projects, she and I worked and felt that we are similar kind of people. And it's very important, what she gave me a feeling that I'm not alone. I'm not the only odd one out. And that's a very good feeling. To give you an insight of her journey, she started her career with the Viva band. It was a girl band, and 90s people will know what I'm talking about. But the young blood out there, you can go and Google it. It was a cool band. Her journey was not easy. Her journey was really, really difficult. Her band got dismantled and she was 18, having public pressure and everything. She went back, she rebuilt herself and came back again. Tried doing Bollywood. And the stats you saw, right, in the starting, that is the reality of music industry. In that reality, when she gave super hits like Jag Ghumya, Kuch Khas Hai, and many others, she was still not accepted the talent she was. And then what did she did? She rebuilt herself and started doing her independent career. She went back to hometown because her mother used to sing her when she was a kid Punjabi folk songs. She started creating Punjabi folk sounds with the new sound itself, new age sound, and gave us viral track like Nai Jana and won awards for it. So that's what I call a truly independent woman. I'm going to take a pause, guys, because this looks like a simple topic. But this is not some stories which are made up. These are true stories of true women who has gone through such a hardship and converted dreams into art. I'm going to take a pause here, okay, guys? In this pause, I want you to take some breath out because we are talking about really difficult topics. I'm trying my level best to make it easy and simple. But because it's very personal, so it brings some emotions out. And this is the first time I'm talking about this on a forum. Neha Bhasin was also in a similar way, not only career-wise, but also as a professional. As a person also, she made me realize how strong and independent she is. She talked about body shaming, slut shaming. She talked about a lot of important aspects, which basically is not an easy one, and she is truly an independent and fearless woman. But being an independent woman was not good enough. And the second lesson of my life is being fearless. And that's what we will talk about. What do I mean by being fearless? I'm going to share a very simple story with you of my personal life to give you a reference of what do I mean by being fearless. Everyone remembers COVID's time, right? The crazy, scary, uncertain time, and everything became digital at that time, right? So classes were happening digital, right? Schools were happening digital. Jobs were happening digital. Shopping were happening digital. Everything went digital. And you know what the beauty of digital world is? It can fail anytime. So this is the story of that kind of a situation. I was with senior executives in the room. Okay, in that executive room, I muted myself because I didn't wanted background noise of my house cooker CT going out or my mom calling me, "Can you get milk?" So I muted myself. And while I muted myself, somebody, senior executive, said, "Hey Shilpa, are you there?" And I heard it. I intended to unmute myself, but I couldn't. It was not happening at that time. Everyone remember those memes also, right? So it was not getting unmuted. And they called me again. "Hey Shilpa, are you there?" I kept trying. At the third time when they said, "Hey Shilpa, are you there?" They created a remark saying, "Don't call her, she must be cooking chapatis." रोटियां बना रही होगी kitchen में. In literal Hindi. And I was hurt a little bit, like really hurt. I can't curse, but I was cursing at that time, okay? And it made me so angry because it was a difficult time. I was trying to manage everything from family to work, and still somebody created that remark, like said that remark, and whole room was laughing at me. What did I do? I just unmuted myself, calmed myself down, and said, "Do you know it's only women who can give birth, clean your houses, cook food, and still deliver at work and become who they want to be?" You are clapping, they were not clapping at all, guys. I'm telling you this. And what happened is, when I look back today, right, आज मैं पीछे देखती हूँ कि वो वाली शिल्पा को ये बोलना चाहिए था, नहीं बोलना चाहिए था, शायद नहीं, कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी. लेकिन उसने बोला क्यों? इंटेंट क्या था? इंटेंट ये था कि उस रूम में अगर मेरे साथ ऐसा हुआ है तो किसी और के साथ भी होगा. मेरे बाद जो आने वाली है उसको ये सुनने की ज़रूरत ना पड़े और उन्हें पता चले दिस इज़ नॉट एक्सेप्टेबल. Another story in between, when I'm not a business person. I have not done MBAs on business, but I'm basically a journalist by profession. So when I was doing this business side, somebody said, you know, girls cannot do business. They can't do business numbers and everything. I was like, okay. Then they were asked me a simple question. Do you know how many zeros in million? I'm like, okay. ये moment मेरे साथ ही क्यों हो रहा है? और थोड़े दिनों के बाद, अभी मैं recent की बता रही हूँ. I was in an outing and one of the senior executive said, "If you tell me evaporation process, I will give you 1 lakh rupees right now." In front of everyone. I can answer. But it's not right. If they're doing it with me, who is a strong, independent, fearless woman, what will happen to a woman who is not that outspoken in the world? This is what I mean by fearless. I'm not saying go out and say whatever you want to do. But where there needs to be a voice, please voice it. It's necessary. This is what I mean by being fearless. And now when I'm talking about fearless, there is another artist I want to mention with you. Her name is Kehlani. To give you a background of her, she's a US artist. California में रहती हैं. इनका भी childhood easy नहीं था. So her father died with drug abuse. Her mother was in and out of prison. She was raised by her auntie. And what did she do with that pain? She converted that pain into her passion. She released her first debut album, You Should Be Here, and got Grammy nomination. She was not only fearless for the act of work she did. She talked openly in the forum, talking about her mental illness, her suicide attempt, and how difficult it was to be a female. And she created and proved in the industry that women can lead. That is what I call about a true fearless woman. And if you can correlate to this ecosystem, you will see that it's not easy being that. It's not easy. They also cry. They also have hardship. They have mental illness because of this. But the point is, they never stopped. That's important. And that's what is the lesson. I'm going to take a pause here, guys, because, these are not just stories of one or two female or mine. I am dead sure even your lecturers or teachers or lecturers or principals sitting out here or somebody sitting it out there trying to do a job, they also have felt the same biasness. Do I mean all men are biased? No. There are a lot of men who supported me to be here. But this is hard. We cannot be just independent, fearless. There are more to it. We need to be unstoppable about it. And this is the third lesson of my learning of life. And I've seen this happening with artists. That's why the artist stories are also shared. A small story is, I gave you a little bit hint of my childhood. I lost my father when I was 5. I'm from Delhi. I'm not from Mumbai. And I have a younger brother who is 3. My mother was not very well educated or had the refined job. So she used to travel 6 hours a day just to go to job and then do 8 to 9 hours of job. And all the females sitting out there who has kids, I can see the face changing because maybe you won't realize it, but it is hard. It's literally taking out every day 8 to 9 hours job, and you can do the calculation, another 6 hours of traveling. You're talking about 14 to 15 hours a day just going out, and you have a 5 years and 3 years old boy at home with no family supporting. And on top of it, I was a kid who was rebellious. I was not really good at my studies. I was not the shining star of school or college. So it was more hard for her. But what did I do with these circumstances? And that's what I call unstoppable spirit. I did multiple jobs. When I was in college, I was working, I was doing call center, I did SEO, I did website designing, I became rich people's nanny, I did event management, I did some hotel jobs. Because I was a journalist, so I did anchoring, journalism, nothing would. And then within these jobs, I found one good man who's recommended me to a music label. And that's when I found my passion and profession. I stick to it. And this is the story I want to give it back to you, is the lesson why my dream came to reality is because I didn't stop if things were not working my way. I was like, what can happen? I'll keep trying, something I learn. And from the learnings I have, everything I did, the random jobs, helps me today in my job. So nothing goes for waste. And with this unstoppable spirit and knowledge, the only artist when I was writing this came to my mind was Lady Gaga. Everyone knows the story of Lady Gaga? No, a little bit. So I'm going to share this with you. So Lady Gaga was born in New York. In the age of 4, she learned piano. Around age of, I would say 13, she wrote a full ballet. She was doing open mic from the childhood, like when she was a kid. And she didn't had an easy childhood too. She was called a weirdo. And when she was doing her music and grew a little bit, one of the major label internationally dropped her saying she's unmarketable. Can you imagine it was said for Lady Gaga? She was dropped from the label. What did she do? She kept doing her music. Underground did. Her approach was making music, dance, bold attitude. And what did she build for herself? She built a personality and persona for herself. She created an empire for herself. And that was not all. She openly talked about her sexual harassment at the age of 19. She talked about how industry pressure work, her mental health. And today she is an Oscar winner. She is an unstoppable woman. And that's what I mean by being unstoppable. So to every dreamer out there like me who really wants to achieve their dream, I would recommend, don't listen to the world what they are saying. Just do what you really want to do. So I'm going to repeat this again. To every dreamer who's out there and has been told that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, please go out there and prove them wrong. Be independent, be fearless, and be unstoppable. Because the world belongs to those who dare to change it, and that history speaks, not I. People who have done things and changed the pattern is there where the world belongs to. So thank you so much, everyone. This is my time. I am Shilpa Sharda. I'm independent, fearless, and unstoppable like my artist.